Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the tier list for Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. I suppose, without any further ado, you can start deciding where to put everything. Everyone.
Okay. Now, I would like to say, Maya can interject at any point and give her feedback on whether or not she thinks that we could move around someone based on her opinion. However, I will deliver my own long-winded explanation of some of these characters for why they need to be where they need to be. First of all, Akane. Now, This one is like a really easy one for me. She is the golden retriever of the series. Just like in the best way, though.
In a good way, not like Yasuhiro in the bad way.
Yeah. Yeah, Yasuhiro is like a golden retriever, just like in a dumb and annoying way. She's more like a husky.
You don't like huskies?
I like huskies, but they're loud and annoying when they want to be, despite being very cute.
So you want her in S?
Yes, S tier.
Okay.
Chiaki, very, very sleepy. Obviously spoilers for the game.
This whole thing will be spoilers. It'd be weird to have a tier list, I guess, just first impressions, but no, this is with all our knowledge.
Right, which is why we're gonna go to the next thing. Her being like the traitor and everything. Well, I say traitor, but I mean, really, it's not even a bad thing in this connotation. Overall, I know, just the S tier.
Okay.
I don't think she really deserves anywhere else.
Okay, S tier Chiaki.
Now, originally I had like bad first impressions of Fuyuhiko.
Right.
And it's kind of understandable. Like, he was like, fuck off, everyone. I don't want to get close to you all because I know what's going to happen. But after Peko died, he like became really, really cool. And I don't know, he really redeemed himself in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think that alone deserves him being in S tier. I will not change my mind.
Okay, so he's S tier.
Yeah, he is S tier.
That's good. This order good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gundam. He's just adorable. Honestly. It is Dark Davis of Destruction. The greatest animals to ever be. He like talks big game and he's like really sweet and actually like sacrifices himself and, well, sacrifice wouldn't be the word in Mekamaru's case, but yeah. But still, you know, even despite me liking Nekomaru and him killing him, I understand why he did it. So therefore, S tier.
This game is all S tiers so far.
Look, and
it's really funny because at the beginning of the game, you're like, these characters are less likable in the first game, and now they're all S tier.
I think especially whenever you realize that we hung out with them all previously, which, if you all didn't like watch the adventure thing where we hung out with everyone, you should go do that because that adds a lot of context to the characters, and in one person's case, changes my perspective a lot. But yeah, anyway, Hajime. He's the main character. That's kind of all he is. Just same with really Makoto in the first game. But he's not a bad main character, I'd say. So, I mean, A tier, I guess.
A tier. Roger.
Not being bad alone is good, and I think the fact that he's like this like weird evil guy at one point.
Yeah.
That's interesting, I guess. That adds to that score.
Yeah.
Hyoko. If we can make 6 tiers lower than D tier, we would put her there.
So you want another tier?
Yes, make another tier. Lower than D tier.
Okay.
And just named it Abomination.
I accidentally put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, it's okay. You can just,
I'm working on it, don't worry. I just want colors, nice colors. We just have the right color now. This color?
Yeah, both the same color. Yeah, it's different.
Are they both?
They're different shades.
I can't tell.
The one bottom is darker.
Is it abomination? Abomination.
Yes. Abomination.
Abomination. Do you want Hyoko there?
Yep.
Okay.
She's the only person that's going to be in that tier. Spoiler. Anyway. Spookie. Look, I don't need to explain much here. She's just really great. I like her character a lot. And her music, very cool. S tier.
Okay.
But I would say below Gundam, yeah.
Okay, so this order for S tier is still good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with it. Except, actually, I want to say Fuyuhiko's under Gundam.
Like
only barely, though.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. But Hiro, now this one's going to become a shocker for those of you who have been watching up until now. I hated this bitch. Like, really hated her. Until we hung out with her, and I'm like, okay, I can see why you are the way you are. And overall, she isn't really that bad of a character, so I will say she gets a hell of a boost from what she was. However, with that being said, as Maya had mentioned to me previously, she did not stand up for whenever Mikan was being hounded on, like, all the time. But anytime Hyoko was being hounded on, she immediately stepped in. And I think the fact that you can be friends with and even, like, defend such an abomination immediately loses you a tier. So you're going to be put in C tier.
Okay.
She would normally be put in B tier.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Now Mikan.
Mikan, you killed a Spookie. You're also your personality overall. The whole forgive me crap. Vying for everyone's attention. All of that stuff. I don't like her. Just straight up. She's worse than my hero. I'm gonna put her in D tier.
D tier. Okay.
Nagito. Also didn't like him at first. Can't say it really changed from that point either. I mean, I think he's fun to play, at least, in regards to, like, reading his lines, but no. No, he's like Junko, just like the polar opposite as far as, like, morality goes, I guess. Well, I wouldn't say that. He's very morally ambiguous, whereas Junko's just, like, legitimately evil.
Yes. She's the devil.
But he leans more so to, like, the chaotic side
Right.
And that's kind of his whole personality, and it's a bit annoying. I'm gonna say he's above Mikon.
So,
And D tier.
so he's D, but above Nikon.
Yes.
Interesting. Next character.
Nekomaru. Very loud, very boisterous, but he's cool. I like his vibe. Unfortunately, however, that does not land him a spot in S tier, so he is going to be right nestled in front of Hajime.
Okay, so in A,
Yeah,
on this side, good?
in front of Hajime.
Okay.
Yeah. Peko. She, I wish she had more characterization other than, well, I guess she slightly has more characterization other than just being like a tool for Fuyuhiko. But that feels primarily what she was. I don't really like that
She
as
liked
much.
fluffy things, though.
She does like fluffy things, but that's not enough to like help her out that much. Really. But she really did like love Fuyuhiko and like wanted to ask him out and stuff.
Yeah.
Before she Mick died, but you know.
She make die.
But I don't know. I'm gonna personally put her below Nekomaru, but in front of Hajime.
Nice. See, there's nothing much to her and stuff, but she's still better than the main character.
The main character is just like, if I were to describe Hajime, he's just bread. Like, whatever you add to him, he's just whatever you add to him. Bread is just bread.
I see.
I don't know how to articulate it good enough, but he's not significant enough character-wise to really stand out as far as the over-characterization of basically anyone else. Anyway,
Well, he had the whole
Kazuichi.
thing about he was wanted to be, I don't know, never mind. Continue with Kazuichi.
No, go ahead.
Okay, what I was gonna say is he had his character, the whole he wanted confidence in himself, and he thought that host peak would be the way to do it, but apparently that didn't work out. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think, in my opinion, that doesn't. Those. Like, the combination of every bits of his character doesn't really amount to much for me. It's really the same as Makoto. I think a lot of characters have main character syndrome where they're designed in a way that they feel like they're made for the purpose of being a guise in which you can look into and like add your like personal feelings onto. So they don't have a lot of personality other than being just like, I'm in this position, I have like a few things going for me, but I'm like overall a blank slate.
Okay.
Anyway, rant over for that character. Kazuichi.
Yeah.
Very, very annoying outside of his hangouts. His hangouts are pretty cool. We get some more insight of his actual mechanic skills. So I like that. And we do get that for everyone else too, but I don't know. It makes him a little bit better, but if he wasn't like a weird stalker and just whining most of the time, I'd like him more, but yeah, no, that's rough, buddy. I think he is below Mikan.
Okay.
Yep.
Above Abomination, at least.
Well, he's got that going for him. He has a sad-ish backstory. I guess that's something.
Yeah.
Sonia, you are a princess and love the occult, and gosh, there really isn't much I can say about you, honestly. You can see how some people would think that she's like cool or whatever, but I found her character kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. And if you think otherwise, I am glad to move her up or down depending on how you're feeling.
Well,
But for
let's
now,
mostly keep this as yours, yes.
she's going to be above Hajime.
So, like, here.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okie dokie.
Taro. At least you're not Hiyoko. And that's the only good thing I can say about you. Below Kazuichi, but not an abomination.
Okay.
Your family dynamic was pretty cool. That's like the only thing that's good for you, and your cooking is probably good, I guess. Anyway. Byakuya, if we could even call you that.
It's the ultimate imposter.
Yes. He added some interesting insight onto Byakuya's story. And by Byakuya, I mean the one from the first game. Because that's who he's impersonating. He said something about wanting to be them, as well as, like, being really happy whenever Hajime said that he was, like, very, very good or something.
Well,
Look, I don't know. It's been a little bit.
Well, he has to be somebody because he was nobody. And he said if you were going to choose to be anybody, who would you be? And he chose Byakuya because of all the backstory. He said he thought he was like the best person to become. But he wants to like be seen as his own person as well. So when Hajime said that he's the only Byakuya, you're the only Byakuya I know, that made him happy because like he's his own person, at least for now, anyway.
I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that like adds a lot of insight into his character. But I feel that unfortunately he doesn't get screen time, like, because he's the first to die. So
Well, he really steals the show in the first part, though, but then he's gone.
I think he does, yeah. I mean, he really differentiates himself from, like, Byakuya from the first game, because in the first game, Byakuya is, like, totally selfish.
Yeah, he doesn't become a good guy until later, and then this guy's just great right off the bat.
I'm going to, like, save everyone and everything. I don't know. There really isn't much I have to say, like, negative about him. He just doesn't get a lot of screen time normally. So I guess I'm going to say he is below Peko Peko, but only by a sliver.
So like this.
Yes.
Dude.
Nanami.
Or Usami, whatever name she goes by these days.
I don't feel like I need to explain a lot. She really is just kind of... She tries, I guess, to, like, save everyone, but really she's just, like, crying and getting bullied and... Your design's cool, I guess, and I like your dynamic with Monokuma, despite Monokuma not being here for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't find one that had them. It was either a whole bunch more characters from different games or just these. So I went with this one.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
mean, I could choose. I could, like, since you can add your own images, I could try to do that, but that seems like a lot of work. When we do the tier list at the end of the series where we have everybody, then we can, like, compare everybody that way. But for now, let's just focus on this game specifically.
Right. We will cross that bridge whenever we come to it. And primarily because there's an empty spot that needs to be filled, I want to put Madami in B tier.
Okay. And there we go, I guess.
Now,
There's
for the
Spookie's
part
playlist. I mean, tier list.
tier list, yes. Now, the part that I'm curious about, where would you put everybody? Is there anything you would want to change?
Well, let's see. I am intrigued by Mikan.
Okay.
And I am also intrigued by Nagito. So I'd probably put them higher just because Nagito makes the plot happen. It would be such a different game without him.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I feel like that warrants him being higher.
I'm totally cool with
but
that.
I'm just thinking. So everybody, this is what Spookie got. Just so we're clear, that's the first tier list, and then maybe I'll do some modification. Hyoko is where I would put her.
I'm so glad you think so.
I'm thinking. I mean, I like Sonia Nevermind, but you don't, so never mind.
Well, it's not that I don't like
I like
her.
everybody else you put in S tier. I'd probably leave them because I don't need to fine tune it.
Yeah.
A tier's good. But as said, I'd probably bring these up a little bit. Don't know how much,
Do you
though.
provide some insight as to why you're intrigued by Mikan specifically?
I don't know. I feel like that there's, like, depth to her character because she's not just, like, one thing. She's, like, a lot of things. Like, there's the whole clumsy thing, but then you find out later that she might be doing that just for attention because she hates to be ignored. Like,
Right.
that terrifies her. And then there's also the whole reason she became a nurse is, because people beat her up and then she got better at taking care of herself, but also because she really likes the feeling of being in power over the sick.
Yeah, that's like really
Which is intriguing
morbid.
to me. And I just find her intriguing.
Okay. So where would you say?
I will say that I the whole gimmick of the motive rather of the third thing, the despair disease, I kind of don't like it as a motive. I know it's in this game because this whole game was like a farce anyway, because it was just to get, like, AI Junko wasn't trying to make a point with any of this. It was just to get people to die. So
Right.
that's why it's like heavy-handed. But like, I don't like the idea of like a motive that, like, mind controls people or something, because then you're not getting like what the characters would have done. So Mikan might have never killed anybody. So I feel like she was robbed of potentially being innocent.
I understand how you feel, and I did ask your opinion. However, I want to also provide my insight onto that particular thing.
Go right ahead.
In regards to Mikan's character, it seems pretty clear to me that she has some pretty controllable aspects of her, I would say. Like, she wants attention, yes, and I feel like because of that, she's easy to manipulate if she gets attention for it. And of all people that can do that, it's Junko, which is why, like, the whole despair disease works so well in that scenario. I feel like even without that, she could at any point kill if she had a good enough reason to. I feel like the despair disease was just coincidental in the fact that she could, like, she remembered Junko and all that.
Fair enough. But yeah,
Yeah.
guess I'm not gonna bother to move anybody around. I already said my piece. Nagito, interesting. Probably move him up somewhere.
No, 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 no.
And
I
you want me
I
to
want
put
to
him up?
move them.
You want to
Yeah.
move him? Okay. I'm just wondering how much I think Nagito is great.
We can take some time to settle with this and then come to a decision.
Like, I definitely move him at least up to B tier because he just changes the game completely.
I'd be willing to go that far, yeah.
Okay.
I think for that reason alone, that's a pretty significant boost in his character. He also had Junko's arm. That was pretty cool, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good flashback. You're just like, what's going on?
It was very confusing.
So B tier because he's supposed to. He does so much, but at the same time, it's the worst thing ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and actually, in that regard, I feel like overall he does more than Usami / Manami, whatever. So therefore, I'm going to want to put him, yeah, right there.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Manami just whines and gets beat up and says everyone needs to be like good and shit.
Maybe she should be dropped further. But
I'm willing, yeah. Let's drop her.
how far should she go?
I'm willing to say that she's worse than my hero.
So like,
Yeah. Because it's kind of like the Kazuichi situation where she's really just annoying and there to be there.
you just hate the funny goofy side characters that get beat up and stuff.
Well, not necessarily. I just feel like whenever
Like
you
the
have
ones
a
that
character,
scream randomly, you hate them.
well, there's that, but it's also the fact that like whenever you make a character and all they do is whine and complain and say how things should be without taking proper initiative, and like sure she tried, but she only tried to overthrow Monokuma like once at the very beginning of the game. She killed the Mono Beast. Yeah, sure, but
The whole reason we got all those islands, though, is because of her.
that is
she
true.
was off doing all that, and nobody ever thanked her for it.
A valid point.
Risking her life to save everybody, and then gets nothing for it, and then gets executed. And nobody cried.
However, with that being said,
maybe she should go higher.
if you want to move her higher, that's okay. But I have a counter argument to this, and that is that Monokuma could have just as easily just said, I don't know, Monobeast, like, go somewhere else or something for a while. Because he had motives in every place set up, dedicated to that whole, every area. So, why not make use of every area?
Well, did he have a motive for every area? He had a motive for the first area. What was the first area?
The first area was... Well, I guess it wasn't necessarily his motive, I guess.
No, wait. His motive was that he said that everybody's memories got stolen.
I guess so,
that
yeah.
didn't really affect anybody, but that isn't, like, anything to do with the first island specifically, but... Okay,
yeah,
and then the second motive was the video game. And that video game had nothing to do with Two Island. Like, even without that island being unlocked, that would have basically played out the same. Not sure where the murder would have happened, but it would have been the same, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, and the third motive, now that one, since there was a disease, and then there was a hospital, that one actually had to do with the third island.
Uh-huh. And then there was
the fourth motive, they literally had to bring them to...
the movie theater. The movie theater is where you went to see the...
Yeah, I guess...
something at one point.
Yes, but that was, like, not really actually part of the motive. It was just, like, a fake part of it. But, yeah. And then the fourth motive was they had to go to the funhouse. That island definitely mattered for that one. And then the fifth was there wasn't even a fifth motive because then Nagito took things into his own hands. So I don't remember what our original point was, but
my argument has been just deconstructed. So therefore, Manami has added to the story in regards to taking initiative. So therefore, she moves herself back up to B tier.
Excellent.
We have not moved at all.
No, we moved Nagito up, and because of that,
yeah,
wait, that's the only person we moved.
Well, yeah, we moved Manami, and then we were like, actually, she did actually contribute to the story in like a positive manner, so she does
Yes.
gain her stay in the B tier.
But from where your tier list was to this one, the only difference so far that's actually here is that Nagito moved up. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Doesn't matter. By moving Nagito up, it now makes Mikan slightly higher because there's no one in front of her on that spot. So now she's the top of D tier. So that's fine. Everything is good now.
Is that where you want her?
Yeah, because she's higher now.
Okay.
Although, I don't know.
Well, if you have doubts, please
I'm
voice them.
thinking. I don't know. I'm in a. I guess I'm in a good mood regarding Mihiro, so she can stay there.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point out to everyone at home, I do not hate Kazuichi. I think he's kind of funny, but that doesn't mean I think he belongs higher on this list.
Yeah. I feel like being funny doesn't really make your character
a fan of losers sometimes, but he is a loser, so he stays down there.
I don't know. I'll be honest. You all know how I feel about losers. And, like, you can be a loser and that'd be cool. Like, if you have other redeeming factors that compensate for your lacking in, like, characterization, then that's cool. I want that. But Kazuichi doesn't really have that. He's just like, oh yeah, I make some things sometimes, and my backstory is kind of sad. Whatever.
Welcome to the club. Everybody's backstory is sad.
Right. Literally everyone, except for maybe Sonia and Ibuki. We don't really.
Sonia's kind of sad because she's like doesn't get to be a regular girl, and she's a princess, has all these duties and stuff. There's a sadness there. Yeah.
Point taken.
Yeah. Princesses can be sad.
They can be. Oh look, I'm privileged. I'm so sad. Anywho.
Hey, I played Long Live the Queen. You know that first playthrough where she was a very sad princess.
I do. And in her case, I
think I named the episode Depressed Princess Simulator. But
I like that character. Well, it's funny you bring that up because I feel like the way I feel about that character versus how I feel about Sonia, knowing more about Sonia, I feel like she deserves higher.
Interesting.
But her whole gimmick of like being a princess and just her character overall, it isn't really that good. I think A tier is like high for her already.
Okay, we'll leave her.
But no. Listen. I'm cool. I'm cool with moving Byakuya below Sonia and in front of Hajime.
So like this.
Yes. I am cool with that position.
Okay. Excellent.
Now, I did not say a lot about Nekomaru, actually. I'm realizing that it's just like blatant favoritism for him. there's really not much I can say about him.
I mean, he looks cool.
He looks cool.
And he
gets turned
became
into
back as a robot, which was cool. He sacrificed himself to save people, so he's cool.
Yeah, he has a lot of good stuff for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he deserves that spot.
Okay.
Well, I think that's good, actually.
Okay, I guess this is it, guys. Our tier list of Danganronpa 2. Goodbye,
If you
despair.
enjoyed our tier list for some reason, please let us know in the comments. And also, we'd really like to know where you put everyone else. If you were to choose.
Yeah, let us know if you vastly disagree with where somebody is.
Yeah,
or if you just want to extremely agree.
Yeah, if you're just like, I absolutely agree with you all, like 100%, then thank you very much. Glad that we had some decent opinions.
Just something I will add, though, is that when I first played the game, Akane was like just a side background character to me. I didn't even pay attention to her at all. So it's just cool that she has become the favorite.
That's really interesting, actually. Well, I don't know. I'm just, I feel like I'm, what's the word? Predisposed, I guess. To characters that are like sweet, helpful, kind of dumb. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily call her dumb, but she isn't really smart. Likes food. I mean, that's an easy one, obviously.
Yeah.
And the art and facial expressions is a big one. Yeah. So, like the one where she's just eating. And mind you, for everyone that has been on the Discord server, you would see that my profile picture for the last, say, month has been Akane just eating.
Yeah, the Akane with their mouth stuffed.
Yeah, it's just the most golden retriever energy, and yeah, 10 out of 10. I would like to know as well, if you have some insight onto this, what about my thoughts on Akane changed your viewpoint?
Well, it's like, I don't know. You pointed out the things you liked about her. I'm like, those are pretty nice.
even nice enough to be like the top of the tier list.
I mean, why not? Even without it, I would have said she would like, even at the worst, I would say she would be like a low A. So why not as top tier?
Honestly, yeah, fair enough.
Like, I'll only say something if somebody's like multiple tiers away from where I'd want them to be or something, type of thing. Where I'm like thinking about it, but
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
I would also, while we're here, like to address everyone who likes Hiro, like a lot. I am sorry for the way I acted towards her. She is not a very bad character. Like, and whenever you hang out with her, again, you get insight onto her reasoning for being the way she is, and I mean, makes sense for basically everyone except for Taro or Hyoko. But whatever. She had a boost. Otherwise, she would have been like right above Taro and below Kazuichi.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it, unless there's anything else you can think of talking about. Again, let us know in the comments if you had any agreements or disagreements. Or just let us know what your favorite is. It doesn't have to be like an agreement or disagreement, just which characters were your favorites.
Yeah, I don't think I have really any more insight on the characters.
Yeah, I mean, we did all their stuffs, all their hangouts. What are they called again? The free time events. So
Yeah.
there's no hidden stuff that we didn't know, like in the first game. Like we never even hung out with, the false Junko.
Right.
In fact, the thing that makes you like that character more is in this game. But
I would like to say one last thing before we end this. I am being nice about this because if I was not being nice, I would put Mikan right below Kazuichi because I don't really like her character that much. I don't think there's basically anything redeeming about her. Like,
she wants to take care of people. Sure, it's for her own reasons, but she likes doing it.
So does Mahiru, and that was proven. But she doesn't really do that for Mikan. And Mikan does it because her sick, fetishistic borderline want to have people below her and need her.
Well, I mean,
and that's like a really narcissistic trait. I don't like narcissism.
But everybody beats her up, and she's like below everyone, so she just really likes to not be below everyone every once in a while. Does that really make her a bad person?
She could also just speak up for herself. But she
but that's
doesn't do
hard.
that. She has no backbone.
Yeah, because people beat her up when she has a backbone, so she just reverts into this.
I don't know, just stab them.
He's like, better if she just started killing people openly.
do not take anything I say out of context or use this as valuable advice, because I promise you will end up in a penitentiary. Anyways. I have nothing else to say. I said my piece.
I suppose I'll do the ending now then.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you enjoyed this, then liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing are all appreciated. The most important thing, though, that thou must absolutely do is have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.